Hello and welcome back to BBSN, and we are getting ready to do another Strat Time Machine project featuring the 1922 St. Louis Browns traveling to 1977, where they replaced the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League East. And this is game 5. Currently the Browns sit at 2-2 and are coming off a 12-3 thrashing at the hands of their opponent today, the Detroit Tigers, in game 4 of the season. So today's starting lineups. First off for the Tigers, pretty much same as game 4. Ron LaFleur leading off in center, Tito Fuentes, Ben Ogilvy, Rusty Staub, Jason Thompson at first, Steve Kemp in left, Milt May catching, Aurelio Rodriguez at third, and in the 9th spot, Tom Verizor. And this was the actual as-played lineup for the Tigers on April 12th, 77 against the Blue Jays, with the exception of Tom Verizor, and reason being is we do not have a card for Mark Wagner. For our Brownies, one change thus far from the last game. Jack Tobin will lead off and is in right field. Eddie Foster in at third base today in place of Frank Ellerby will hit second. Rest of the lineup, George Sisler at first, Ken Williams in left, Baby Doll Jacobs in center, Marty McManus at second, Hank Severide behind the plate, Chick Shorten will be the DH, and Wally Gerber at shortstop. And pitching today for the hometown Brownies, their ace of the staff, Urban Shocker, who is 24-17 with a 2.97 ERA in 1922. And going for the visiting Tigers today will be Dave Roberts. And Roberts was 4-10 with a 5.15 ERA in 1977. So the Browns hoping they can have a little bit more success in Game 2 than they did against Dave Rozema in the opener. And with that, we are ready to play ball, and Ron LaFleur steps up to face Shocker. And 5-2, that'll be a fly ball to right field, and that's an X. And right fielder Jack Tobin is a 2, and a roll of 13 and 2 will be a fly out. So Ron LaFleur goes down, and next batter, Tito Fuentes. Shocker the pitch, 6-10, and that's a split, and that's going to be a double for Fuentes. And Fuentes gave the Browns pitching staff loads of trouble in the opener, and he is now on second base in scoring position with one down, and Ben Ogilvy the batter. Shocker the pitch, 3-4, and that's going to be a ground ball to first base, and Sisler up with it, and he's going to go over to shortstop. And back to first from Gerber. That will be a 3-6-3 double play. And Shocker gives up. And actually, never mind. That will be a 3 unassisted. The runner was at second base. And once again, your announcer has some early inning foibles going on here. So 2 down, and Fuentes is at third. And Rusty Staub will be the batter. 6-4, and struck him out. So Shocker, same result, gets out of the inning. And Fuentes is stranded at third. And we'll go to the bottom of the first inning with no score for the Tigers. All right, Dave Roberts on the mound, and he will face Jack Tobin to lead things off for the hometown Browns. Tobin off to a solid start this season. 1-9, and that's going to be a split chance, and that will be a double into the left field corner. And Tobin starts things off for the Brownies with a shot down the line. And that will bring up Eddie Foster. Foster seeing his first action of the season in place of Frank Ellerby, who started the first 4 games. 4-6. And that's going to be a fly ball to right field. Runner holds. That will bring up George Sisler. And Sisler, hitting just around 250 through 4 games, has yet to really get it going. 5-3. And that's going to be a ground ball to first base. And Thompson will take that himself, and Tobin will move to third. So just like the Tigers, 2 down, and the Brownies have a runner at third, and that will bring up Ken Williams. And we're going to talk a little bit about Williams between innings. He's going to be our feature player of the day. 2 and a 12, and fly out to right field. So he has the opportunity, being in the spotlight, to make something happen, but does not. And we're through 1 inning and 0-0. Ken Williams, interesting figure. He's one of those what could have been players. He really didn't get his first crack at the majors until 1915 at the age of 25, and bounced around for a couple of seasons with the Reds, really never got a shot. Sent back down to the minors as Jason Thompson leads it off for the Tigers in the second here. And 2 and a 10. And that's going to be a fly ball to center field. Jacobson puts that one away. 1917, he did not see action at all in the major leagues. And the Browns picked Williams up in 1918. Got into a couple of games, 1919. Again, spot play, and finally at the age of 30, at 1920, he got his first chance to really perform as a full-time ball player and excelled, came into his own. And that's a 6 and a 4 to Kemp. That's going to be a catcher's card X. And Milt May is a 3. 3 and a 3 on the catcher's card. And that'll be a pop out. I'm sorry, Severide is a 2. 2 and a 3 will be safe at first. He dropped the pop out, so an E2. And Kemp is on. Got to talking about Williams and thought St. Louis was up. And we'll pick up the Williams story after this inning is over. 6 and a 7. And that's going to be a single. And Kemp is going to hold up at second base. So runners at first and second. And Aurelio Rodriguez the batter. And once again, the Browns defense is giving them some issues here. 1 and a 12. And that'll be a ground ball back to the pitcher. And that'll be a fielder's choice. They're going to go to third and get the lead runner. So 1-5 to get Kemp out. May goes to second, and Rodriguez at first on the fielder's choice. And that'll bring up Tom Verizor. Tom, can you hear me now? Verizor up to the plate. 6-7. And that's going to be a single. And with 2 outs, and May is an 8. He'll be a 10 to try and score. And probably the slowest player on the field. They're not going to chance it. So that'll leave the sacks loaded. And better to take their chances with the top of the order and Ron LaFleur. The pitch to LaFleur is 1 and a 6. And it's going to be a split chance. 8 will be a double. Runners advance 2. So that pays off. As LaFleur drives in 2 with the double. So May scores, Rodriguez scores, Verizor goes to third. Both those runs against Shocker will be unearned, as they should have been out of the inning had it not been for the dropped pop-up. And the Brownies ace is in trouble here in the second inning. Runners on second, third, 1-2, and that's going to be a foul out. Severide hangs on to this one. And the inning is over, but not before the Tigers, who routed the Browns in the opener of this series, put up 2 more, and it is 2-0 going into the bottom of the second. And just to finish up on Williams, so he finally got his first chance to play full-time 1920, had a good season, and starting in 1921, really, from that point on for the next 5 seasons, he was in the top 3 in home runs. Was the premier slugger really in the American League outside of Babe Ruth, and put up numbers basically that had he really gone on and had a full career and broken into the league in the teens instead of just getting his periodic cup of coffee, probably would have been a Hall of Fame caliber player. He did hit 92 home runs between 1921 and 23, which is second only to Babe Ruth. And his 14-year career numbers, 5 of which were only part-time, Ken Williams hit .319 with 196 homers and 916 runs batted in. And if you factor in or really parlay that into 15 full-time seasons, which would have been a possibility had he stuck when he first broke in and also not spent 17 in the majors. So going on a projected basis there, 15 full-time years, he would have ended up, his .319 average would have equated to roughly 2,700 hits, 345 home runs, and 1,590 RBIs. And if you compare that, that's squarely smack dab in the middle of players, of batters currently in the Hall of Fame. And very comparative to Hall of Famer Goose Goslin. And Goslin's numbers over a similar career length as a full-time player were 2,735 hits, a .316 career average, 248 home runs, and 1,612 RBIs. So Ken Williams really was, in my opinion, a Hall of Fame caliber player who just really didn't get a chance to break in and play full-time until he was 30 years old, and really had a shortened career because of that. But again, in my opinion, as good as many of the players in the Hall of Fame, just didn't get the full-time or the career range, I guess you could say, to put up numbers that would qualify him for election. So anyway, it's our fun fact of the Brown of the day, Ken Williams. So hope you enjoyed that. Maybe found out something about him you didn't know. Back to the game, Baby Doll Jacobson, 3 and an 8, and that's going to be a single. So Jacobson, after that lengthy rambling delay, starts things off for the Browns here in the second with a base hit. Using the auto steal system again based on the payoff pitch model, as I've mentioned before. He will not be running. Marty McManus up, 6-6. And that's going to be a fly ball to left field, 1 down. And Hank Severide, who's dropped pop fly, led to the Tigers getting 2 runs in the top of this inning. 2 and a 12, and that's going to be a ground ball to third base. And up with that is Rodriguez over to second, and relay to first will be a 5-4-3 double play. And Severide breaking hearts in the field and at the plate. So we will head to the top of the third inning now. Ogilvy batting. The score: Detroit 2, St. Louis 0. Shocker with the windup. The pitch, 4-7. Struck him out. So 1 down. And Shocker says, I'll take matters into my own hands. Mr. Ogilvy. The path to the dugout is right over there. 2 and a 10 to Rusty Staub. And Staub grounds it down to first base. Sisler up with it. He'll take that himself. 2 down. Jason Thompson, the batter. And the pitch from Shocker is 4 and 11. That's going to be another strikeout. So Shocker comes back determined. 3 up, 3 down. Strikes out 2 of the batters. We head to the bottom of the third. 2-0 Tigers. And Chick Shorten, history's first DH from 1922, will lead it off for the Browns. Roberts a pitch, 5 and an 8. And that's going to be a pop out first base. And Jason Thompson will put that away. 1 down. Shortstop Wally Gerber up for the Browns. Roberts assigned the pitch, and 1 and a 4. That'll be a ground ball back to the pitcher. And 1-3. Roberts takes care of that, and we're back to the top of the order. Jack Tobin up. Roberts winds up, delivers. 4 and a 6, and that is going to be a fly ball to right field. So 3 up, 3 down go the Brownies. And we're going to head to the top of the 4th, still 2-0 Detroit. Steve Kemp. He had maybe the messiest hair in baseball in the 70s. Honestly, if you go back and watch film of Kemp play, a lot of times he looked like he hasn't shaved for 3 days, woke up on a park bench, but a good ball player nonetheless. 3 and an 8, and that is going to be a strikeout. So shocker. Has sent down 3 of the last 4 Tigers on strikes, as Milt May will come to the plate. May singled and scored his first time up. And 6 and 12, that'll be a ground ball to first base. Sisler takes that one himself, 2 down. And Shocker getting his sea legs under him now, settle down. Face Aurelio Rodriguez, who reached on a fielder's choice and also scored in the second. And 2 and 3, and that's going to be a line out to second base, and McManus spears that. And another 3 up, 3 down for Shocker. We head to the bottom of the inning. And 2-0 Detroit. Dave Roberts has avoided any trouble so far for the Tigers. And you have to think it's only a matter of time before this potent Browns lineup gets to him. With his 5.15 ERA and then with 6 regulars over 300. 6 and an 8. And that won't start it. Pop out to Verizon. So 1 down on the F6 for Foster. That'll bring up George Sisler. 4 and a 10, and Sisler, a ground ball X to third. And Aurelio Rodriguez is a 1, 19. And that's probably going to be a roll again, I believe. Yep, roll D20 again. And a 6. And that'll be a ground ball. Rodriguez up with it over to Thompson, and we have 2 down. And our aforementioned spotlight player of the day, Ken Williams. And 2 more fun facts about Williams. He actually has 2 major leagues first to his credit. He is the first 30-30 player in Major League history. Stole 30 bases and hit 30 home runs plus in 1922. 2 and a 6. And that's going to be a split chance, and that'll be a single. So Williams on board with 2 down. And Williams is also the first player in Major League history, and again in 1922, to hit more home runs, 39, than strikeouts. He struck out 31 times that year. So Williams will always have his place in history there as, again, the first 30-30 player and the first player to exceed his strikeout total with home runs. So 2 more interesting facts about him. 5 and a 6, baby doll. That's going to be a split chance, and 19 will be a double. And Williams comes around third. Is he going to try it? And he is going to hold up. Actually, with 2 down, no, he's not. He's going to go. Kind of crazy third base coaching is that. 1 to 18, he's safe. He's easily safe. And the Browns have struggled enough in this series so far against the Tigers. My coaching does not need to cost them any runs. So they're on the board, 2-1. Marty McManus up, 5 and a 7. And that's going to be a split chance, and 19 will be a single 2. So Jacobson comes around to score, and McManus has tied this up with a 2-out single. And as expected, at some point, Dave Roberts starting to show some cracks in the armor. 2 and an 8 to Hank Severide, and that's going to be a hot line drive to third base. Rodriguez spears that, and the inning is over. But not before the Brownies strike back to tie it up, despite my best efforts to coach them out of doing so. So we'll head to the 5th inning, and we are knotted up at 2. Urban Shocker Ready to face Tom Verizon. Shocker the pitch. And that's going to be a 2-3. And line out to short. So Gerber puts that away for the Brownies. And back to the top of the order, Ron LaFleur. And LaFleur is 1 for 2. He's doubled, knocked in 2 runs. 2 and an 8. And it's going to be a strikeout. So Shocker gives him the old Emery ball. And 2 down for the Tigers is Tito Fuentes, who doubled in the first and popped out to Severide in the second, comes up. 2 and 11, and that's going to be a single. So Fuentes, a 2-out single, and he continues to be a thorn in the side to the Browns in this series. The 2-6. A roll of 2, he will not go. Or attempt to steal. Ben Ogilvy up now with 2 down, runner on first. 2-7. And that's going to be a split chance, and that's going to be a double 2. So a 2-out rally here going for the Tigers. Runners on second and third. And Rusty Staub will try and give Detroit the lead again. Shocker gets his sign, goes to his mouth, might be throwing the spitball here. 2 and 11, and that pops up, and Sisler floats under that, puts it away. And Staub complaining that Shocker is putting a foreign substance on the ball. His pleas are waved off, and we go to the bottom of the 5th, tied at 2. Dave Roberts back on the mound for the Tigers, and he will face the bottom 2 in the order here, Chick Shorten to lead it off. And the Browns' designated hitter popped out to Thompson in his first at bat, a 3 and a 6. And that's going to be a double, so Shorten drives one into the gap in left center. And into second base, a stand-up double. And Wally Gerber, the batter. And he will have a chance with nobody out to give the Browns their first lead of the day, 6-5. And it'll be a ground ball X to shortstop, 3. And Verizon is a 3. And 3 and a 3, Verizon dives. He cannot get that, and that is a single into center field. And Shorten had to hold up, so he will stop at second or third. So runners at the corner now, nobody out. We're back to the top of the order, and the Browns have a very legitimate threat going as Jack Tobin strides to the plate. Tobin 1 for 2 with a first inning double. And the pitch from Roberts. And 2 and a 5. And that's going to be a single 2. So Tobin gives the Browns a lead with an RBI single. Shorten comes home, and Gerber goes over to third. Runners at the corner, still nobody out. And the meat of the order coming up, Eddie Foster. Appearing in his first game of the season for the Browns. The pitch, 5-5. And that's going to be a line out to first base. So Thompson snags that. Only 1 down now, though, and George Sisler, and Sisler is due. I've been saying that this entire season. He's due. Here comes the pitch. 1 and a 9, and a single. So there you go. Sisler comes through, and Wally Gerber comes around to score. Over to third goes Jack Tobin, and Sisler has an RBI. And the Browns now lead at 4-2 with Ken Williams, our spotlight player of the day, coming to the plate. And what a better moment to do something here. That's a 6 and a 9. And that'll be a ground ball to second base. But runners will advance, so Tobin will come home, and Sisler goes to second. 4-3 on the putout, and an RBI for Williams, and the Browns now lead at 5-2. 2 down for Baby Doll Jacobson. And Jacobson, he has doubled and singled, so 2 for 2 today. Also scored a run and driven 1 in. 4 and a 6. And that'll be a fly ball to right, so Roberts gets out of the inning. But not before the Browns strike for 3 runs, and we are through 5, and St. Louis leads Detroit 5-2. And at this point, wondering how long they're going to stick with Roberts against this potent Browns lineup. And probably based on what the Tigers do in the top of the sixth here as Jason Thompson prepares to lead it off. 5 and a 6, and that's going to be a pop out. And second base, McManus underneath that. He's going to put that away, 1 down. Steve Kemp up, and Kemp 2-6, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Kemp goes down. Flailing at air for the second time today, and Shocker has 2 quick outs. Milt May, the batter. He is single grounded out to first. 6 and a 2, and a ground ball down to Sisler again. Sisler picks this one up. Will take it himself in 6th inning. Is halfway complete, and the Tigers fail to get any base runners in that inning. Dave Roberts comes out, and he will be on a short leash. The Tigers are going to have, looks like Jim Crawford has gotten up in the Detroit bullpen. And again, house rule there, he has to be warming up for at least 2 batters before I'll bring him into the ball game. So McManus will try and make his at-bat count here as he leads off the bottom of the 6th. 6 and a 7, and that's a split chance. That's going to be a triple down the right field line. McManus goes the opposite way, rattling around in the corner. Here comes a throw, and he is underneath the tag, safe at third. And a leadoff triple for the Browns, and they continue to pile it on. And is it payback time for the first game of this series? Hank Severeid kicks the dirt off his cleats, steps in, the pitch. 6 and a 7, and that'll be a split chance and another triple. So Severeid and the Browns now have 6 triples, I believe, on this young season through 4 games. And Dave Roberts has an early shower as he will officially be pulled. He goes 5 innings and 5 runs thus far, but he is on the hook for actually 6 runs thus far, sorry, and he's on the hook for a 7th. And to the shower you go. And Jim Crawford will be the new Detroit pitcher. And Crawford, he had a 7-8 record, 4.79 ERA in 1977. And he will face Chick Shorten, who will look to drive another nail into the coffin here. 1-7, and that's going to be a walk. So Crawford does not start off very well for the Tigers. Runners at the corner, still nobody out. 1 run in. Wally Gerber, 4 and 11. And that's going to be a ground ball X to pitcher, 14, and Crawford is a 3. And that's going to be a 1-base error. So Severeid comes in to score, and that will be an unearned run. And that will close the book on Roberts. So Roberts officially will give up 7 runs, 6 of them earned in just 5 innings. And top of the order for the Brownies, and they are definitely looking determined to give Detroit a taste of what they got in the first game. Still nobody out for Tobin. 4 and a 3, and that's going to be another walk. So the sacks are loaded with Browns, and Eddie Foster. Foster 0 for 3, and he's looking for his first hit of the season, and this would be a big one. 4-11, and it'll be a ground ball X to pitcher, and 7 and a 3 on the pitcher. And Crawford's going to field that. He'll come home, and May steps on the plate, goes to first base, and a 1, 2, 3 double play. So not quite what they were looking for there. And that will leave runners at second and third now with 2 down. And Foster walks back in disgust to the dugout as George Sisler steps up. Sisler singled, drove in a run his last time. 4 and a 7, and that's going to be a single plus 2. And 2 more runs will come around to score. As Sisler, his second and third RBIs on the day with that single. And 2 more unearned runs. Those will be credited to Crawford across the plate. And Ken Williams up now. And Sisler, Brown showing no mercy. Let's see if Sisler can get a lead. He cannot. So Williams will bat, and it's going to be 1 and a 9. And it'll be a fly ball to center field, and that will end the inning mercifully. And the Browns plate 4 more runs, 3 of which are unearned, and we are through 6 innings. Our score, St. Louis 9, Detroit 2. So Shocker now has a comfortable lead to work with, as Aurelio Rodriguez will lead things off for the Tigers here in the 7th inning. And I would assume this lead should be safe with Shocker on the hill. 4 and a 3, struck him out. Keeps pitching like that, it will be. And Rodriguez walks back to the dugout with a fistful of air. Tom Verizor, the batter, 1-6. And that's going to be a split chance line out to third base. So Foster makes up for that double play by making a nice play on Verizor's line drive. And 2 quick outs. Back to the top of the order for LaFleur. And Mr. LaFleur, 1 for 3 on the day. Double strikeout, fly out. 4-8. And pops him up. And that's going to go to Sisler at first base. And we head to the 7th inning stretch with our score 9-3 in favor of St. Louis. And in this game, none of the home fans are leaving, shockingly enough. Enjoying this immensely. As Baby Doll Jacobson steps in, looking to get more for the Browns. Crawford the pitch. 1-9, that's going to be a ground ball to shortstop. And up with its Verizor over to first base, 1 down. Marty McManus up, and McManus hit a triple his last time up. Scored on a triple by Severide after him. 4-5, and it'll be a strikeout. So Crawford, it's a little K action of his own. 2 down for Severide, bases empty, pitch. 3-8, and it's going to be a ground ball to Verizor, and he's up with that over to Thompson. 3 up, 3 down for the Browns. We are through 7. Score is 9-2 in favor of St. Louis. So time is winding down for the Tigers to get back into this one, and Shocker has pitched very well over the last couple of innings. In fact, he has set down 7 Tigers in a row. 5-5, and that's going to be a fly ball to center field. Make that 8. As Fuentes, who has had a hot stick in this series so far, goes down. Ogilvy up with 1 out. 6-7, and that's going to be a single. 6 is not good on Shocker's card. So Ogilvy, with this big deficit, won't even think about trying to steal. Rusty Staub, the batter. And 6-4, struck him out. So Shocker says, I'll see your column 6 and do better this time. 2 down as Staub is fanned. And that's the second time Rusty's gone down on strikes today. 6-3, struck him out. So Shocker, after the 1-out single, closes the inning with 2 strikeouts, and we're heading to the bottom of the 8th, and it looks like this one is all but over. Katie bar the door, fat lady sing, lights out, whatever else you want to say, as Chick Shorten lead things off for the Brownies here. 6 and a 7, and that's going to be a walk. And with the big lead, there will be no base running shenanigans as Wally Gerber's up. Gerber has reached on an error, singled, and scored twice today. 3 and a 6, and that's going to be another single. And Shorten is going to try for third base. He needs 13 or better, and he is thrown out. So the base hit into center field, and LaFleur comes up firing. That'll be an 8-5 put out on the single. And Gerber stays at first base. 1 down, 1 on. And Jack Tobin, the batter. And Tobin has reached base 3 times today, double single and a walk. 2 and an 8, and that's going to be a fly ball to right field. So 2 down for Eddie Foster. And Foster, who hit into a double play his last time up, pitcher to catcher to first. And the pitch is a 3 and a 5, and that's going to be a single. So Foster, it's going to be his first base hit of the season, and 1 to 16. Gerber will try for third, and he just gets in under the tag. So at the corners, 2 down, and George Sisler up to the plate. Sisler already has driven in 3 runs today. Would like 1 or 2 more. And that's a 2 and a 10. And it'll be a ground ball back to pitcher, snagged nicely by Crawford. Over to first base, and he gets out of the inning without further damage. We head to the top of the 9th. And St. Louis in total control leads the Tigers 9-2 as Urban Shocker comes out and will look to finish this out with a complete game. Steve Kemp leads it off. Kemp has struck out twice, reached on an error. Pitch from Shocker, 1 and a 4, and that's going to be a ground ball to first base. So Sisler up with it, flips to Shocker covering, and it's 1 down for the Tigers. Milt May, the batter. And he's grounded out to Sisler both of his last 2 times up. 3 and a 4, and it's going to be a fly ball to right. And Tobin puts that one away. And the crowd is on its feet. Shocker has the sign. 2 out delivery. 2 and a 9, and that's going to be a fly ball to center field. And circling under it is Baby Doll Jacobson. He grabs it, and this one is over. So Shocker, a rough start, gives up 2 runs in the 2nd inning, but closes out strong. In fact, after the 2nd, he throws 3-hit ball the rest of the way. And St. Louis gets those bats going. And the Browns are going to take this one 9-2 in a romp. And for the pitcher, Shocker gets the win. Dave Roberts will get the loss. And players of the game, offense was pretty well distributed for the Browns. And thinking today's player of the game, probably, you know what, we'll go with Shocker on this. He started off rough, gave up a hit in the 1st inning, had an error in the 2nd, gave up a couple of unearned runs. And from that point on, 3rd on, it was 3 hits the rest of the way. So Urban Shocker is our POG. And the Browns move to 3-2 on the season. And we will see you next time. Until then, roll on.